Well, hello and welcome back to the garden here in Neath, South Wales. Well, I've had a really busy weekend and yesterday I was just digging up and splitting some Miscanthus grasses and putting them in different areas of the garden. And I've also been planting up the Sorbaria stem. So join me and I'll start by taking you back yesterday and showing you exactly what I was up to in the garden. Well, this year I've spent quite a lot of time just sort of streamlining the garden a little bit and taking out quite a lot of plants that had grown a little bit too big and generally just making it look a little bit tidier. So the first thing that I did was to dig up the clump of Miscanthus grass, and that's been in the ground now for about 3 years, so it wasn't as hard to dig up as I thought. And then I got to work with the saw. Now finding the right angle from which to saw this was probably the hardest part, but once I got going with the saw it was quite easy. And as you can see here, I just first of all split it into two and I managed to get 3 big clumps out of this, and they were ideal for where I wanted them to go. I wanted to add a little bit of height down towards the bottom end of the garden, and this will give a perfect summer screen. So that was the first job completed. And the next part was just to carry them over to where I wanted them in the garden, which was just down towards the bottom end, so it wasn't that far to carry them. Now it would have been easier just to wait a little while and cut these back first before I transplanted them, but you know me, I gotta do things right now. So I just popped these into the holes, so a little bit of clearing up, and then that was a job well done. So with that large Miscanthus now moved in the garden, I have taken the plunge and I've planted in the Sorbaria stem. Now I know this is going to be, or it's known to be, quite an invasive plant, but this one is the dwarf variety, so I'm going to keep a close eye on it. And just move in now past the salvia. These are the purple and bloom. And what I love now that Miscanthus is gone is the lovely view that I've got just through the garden there. And I can see everything now, so it's just opened up that area of the garden beautifully. And every time I move a plant in the garden, it just gives it a completely new look. And I'm really loving that. Now the leaves on the Sorbaria stem are a lovely bronzy colour with hints of green. And there's such a beautiful leaf on that. But as I said, I am going to keep a close eye on this plant, just to make sure that it doesn't spread too far in the garden. And now when I walk up my garden path, this used to be very enclosed before on the right hand side, but just look at that now. And if I just move along, you can see that it's just opened up that area there beautifully, which will also allow a lot more light into this part of the garden. And just look at that lovely Sorbaria stem there. It's such a wonderful plant. I really like the look of it, but I know that I've just got to stay on top of it. And I will. It was a beautiful sunny morning this morning, and I certainly didn't expect this. So let's walk down the garden path. And just a few little changes here. So I've now planted the geum, and that's the totally tangerine, so that's in full sun. And looking over now to this garden bed, you'll see there that that's where I planted the other Verbena bereniensis. And this is going to grow to be a really large plant. Narrow, but tall. So that will add a lovely bit of interest there, right in the centre of the garden bed. And the Sorbaria stem. Now this plant, I've done a little bit of research, and apparently it does grow by underground suckers, so it will spread, but apparently the suckers are always in the top 3 to 4 inches of soil, so they're quite easy to dig around and remove with a spade. So I'm hoping that this will be quite easy to control, and I don't expect it to take off for another 2 or 3 years anyway. But I am loving it there right in the centre, and it really brightens up the space there. Tony has also added a new ornament to the Tiki bar, a rather large snake. So this is the area now at the bottom of the garden where I've replanted the 3 new grasses that I've made out of that one clump. And I think it really helps to give a little bit of enclosure into this area, and it's nice to be surrounded now with a little bit of height. And hopefully they'll settle in now over the winter, and they'll be giving us a really good show for next year. And I really like these grasses in the garden because they've got a lovely variegated leaf, and they just add a little bit of brightness. Beautiful plants. Now on the corner of this garden bed, up until a few weeks ago, if you remember, there was a really large Fargesia rufa bamboo, and the Miscanthus was just there. So now it's looking a lot more open here, and I'm loving the result. And the pot that I did have the Sorbaria stem in, I've now got a lovely Pittosporum golf ball, and I love this plant. It's one of my favourites in the garden. It's a lovely compact size and beautiful leaves on it. And this is evergreen so it'll always look good just outside the greenhouse. So, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. I gotta go out now and buy some compost.